Hello, you guys. How are you doing? How are you doing? Hello, Leonardo. Hello, Cypher. Hello, Alter. Hello, Tasato. Hello, Gorv. Hello, Himari. How are you guys doing? I do this every single stream. I gotta add that to my list of things I gotta take care of. That's obnoxious. Hello, you. How are you, Himari? Hello, Debunked. Tired. I'm kind of tired too. I realized maybe it wasn't the best idea to plan this so early because it's 10 o'clock for me. But alas, here we are. Audio issues, yeah. I forget for some reason with my Mac, I have to hit bypass on my VT4, otherwise it will make that echoing noise. I've been to your background before? Really? Really, where is it at? Where is it at, I ask? It's 1 p.m. for me. Shout out to the East Coast. We could have done it later. Yeah, I know. I was the one who decided to do it earlier. I was like, I'll be more spry at this time. But alas. I'm in 1 week for flight attending training. How's that going so far? 7 p.m. here. Leonardo, we're in the same time zone. Oh, that's interesting, actually. Ha! Shout out to the East Coast. All right. Let me see. How do I want to exactly handle all this? I definitely want to do more debate streams in the future, but it's kind of hard when my opinions are so correct, and I don't want them to last. Like, I don't want the debate to last like 10 minutes. I have a feeling. Oh, I need to put up the poll. Sorry. That this debate is going to be so quick. You know, so I tried thinking of like backup ideas, and it did not work. I'm so lost, Matt Maida. What we're doing is me and Tasato are going to argue live. I'm going to get him on voice call about which is the most effective resource to help people. Let me put a poll in the chat so you guys can also participate. Whoops, wrong one. Oh, we love arguing, especially around here. Engage with your audience. Most effective way. No, we're effective resource to help people? Question mark. No, I can put the full sentence. I'm so hyped. Yeah, I am too. What is the most time? Money. Or can I add? Let me see. Command. Oh, shout out to my Apple keyboard. I wanted to add emoji, but oh well. All right, there we go. Now you guys can also participate. Which one you think? I love it so much. Also loving this living alone simulator free trial. Funny. Apple keyboard. You know what I mean? Let's see. Dark Virus, how are you doing today? Oh, I missed some of the earlier messages. Nibby, hello. How are you doing? Dead Dog, hello. And yeah. I still have no clue what's happening besides some argument. We are arguing on the topic. Let me put the topic up here, actually. My text looks kind of ugly, but it does the job. What is the most effective resource to help people? Is it time or money? Why is my chat showing up? Oh, that sucks. Do you see my little my quiz coming up on the chat up here? That kind of sucks. So well, I'm doing okay-ish. That's not good. Doesn't sound too promising. Interesting. Yeah. So me and Tasato started this this argument a while back. I think it was a couple months ago. And long story short, I was asking people why they felt comfortable playing video games and like how do they not feel anxious because they could be doing something better with their time. And I asked, like, the thing that I want to do most is help as many people as possible. So I need to make money and I need to work if I want to help, you know, the most people I can. Tasato said that was a very materialistic. Tasato, mind you. 10 years of nonstop gaming, threw his life away, super addicted. he was like, that's a very materialistic way of seeing things. And I'm like, okay, what is the most effective way you can help people? And he said, with giving your time. And I disagree. And so now we're going to argue it. I was wondering if that poll was intentional or not. Yeah, that sucks. It's like I want to be able to like add it in here, but like, why is it popping up in my chat up here? You know what I mean? It was like early January. Yeah, that was. If you said time, you probably simp for VTubers. You know what I mean, Bob? It makes perfect sense. Wow. Little we know that we called you materialistic when I myself didn't have a floor. Why is materialistic only seen as a negative? It depends on how those materialistic addictions are used. Exactly. Exactly. I am relatively, all things considered, a materialistic person because I know how much materials can help people. So it's like, I'm fine with it. But he suggests that giving your time is the most effective way to help people. You know what I mean? Poor Kay has dollar bill stuck to her head. I had to make it clear on what side I am. I don't want someone coming in stream be like, oh, is there any doubt she's a fool? And no doubt. And we're happy yesterday, U.S. Independence Day. Hi, Neeby. How are you doing? I feel like you have to be able to 4 times so then Team Money. That's what I'm saying. It all comes back. And that's why I'm saying, like, Tesato's like, oh, he's going to debate me. What is there to debate? You know, guys, I got this in the bag, so I'm sorry if this lasts, like, only 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Tesato just can't afford a floor. To get money, you need to spend time. Correct. However, what is the most effective way? I think, funny enough, the biggest issue that we had, and we did this last time too, is we started arguing which one was more valuable, time or money. But remember, that's not the question. Agreed, you have to spend time to get it. But if you have money, you can have others spend their time so you save time, which, yes, is a valuable resource, by having money. All I heard was bag. I'll be surprised if it lasts over 5. You know what I mean? I mean, all right, Tesato, are you ready? I think I'll call you. Hopefully your audio isn't whack. He's not thinking math-minded. I don't think he's thinking at all. You know what I mean? I think we are far past the moment of thinking, all things considered. Money, salary time. I hope I'm ready. All right, let me see. Let me make sure my audio works. Like, you know how this happened yesterday. All right, start voice. Gong. You should pop up. There we go. Can you speak? Nice. Do you guys hear the audio well? Wait a minute. Oh, wait. Try it again. I had you muted.
Oh my goodness, you had me muted.
I have the control and power over here. Okay. Now you should be able to hear him. Let's see, talk again.
Hello, chat.
You're so bad at this. I needed, like, there we go.
No, I was going to say, like, hello to all the chatters that have never heard me before. How we doing?
There we go. Tesato voice reveal, says Mari.
Mari, this is not a voice reveal. I stream occasionally on the side.
I will say, it's low for me. Is it low for you guys? The poll is 50-50. I'm going to beat everybody. Like, I'm just going to, like... I'm coming after you guys in chat, too. Don't think I want to attack you guys as well. Hi, deep voice, says Leonardo. All right, speak again. He is a little silent compared to me.
Here, wait, Here, does this help a little bit if I do this?
Keep going.
Maybe that'll be a little better, and we'll just talk like this for the debate.
All right, you gotta keep talking louder.
All right. We'll talk like this. Look, I'm a little bird. I got my mouth, my beak open. We're doing all right.
God. It sounds a bit better. It does sound a bit better. However, can you turn it up any more, Tesato?
My gain should be at its highest. Let me double check that it didn't get messed with at some point.
All right, Fox, I got money on you, so don't disappoint. I won't disappoint, trust me. I'm a very skilled rhetorician. This is a walk in the park for me. Too bad we didn't use my Tesato donut for his persona. Oh, that would have been cute, low-key.
Oh, yeah, that could have definitely been cute.
All right. I mean, does it seem low to anybody else? Either way, I guess there's not much we can do.
My game's at full.
It sounds like you're whispering. Good morning, Datwinleaf. How are you doing?
I'm not whispering. I'm talking at my normal volume. Like, this is the volume I talk at when I'm streaming.
Really? Maybe. Is this Sada's attempt to silence Chaos by making her be quiet? So you know what I mean?
So, like, on Discord, you can turn me up there as
Oh,
well.
okay. I'll do that in a second. All right.
So
settings. Yeah, maybe it's on my end. Mute. Voice and video settings. Output. All right, keep talking.
Hello. I'm talking. I am here. I am loud. I'm clear.
Okay.
Chat says I'm good now.
Better. I think it's good now. Okay. As long as we sound equal, because I know sometimes
that was before the. Oh, sorry.
I love you said sorry. It's fine if you talk over me. You know, it's fine. You'll say the same value. Okay, perfect. He talks like how he types. You know what I mean? Very
I
monotonous.
I very intentionally type the way I talk. It was a very conscious decision of myself many eons ago.
It's so funny because like this is not your normal voice. You know what I mean? This is not your normal voice. Oh, wait, let me give you your little emoji. There we go. Here's your little emoji.
What?
Good morning, Caleb. How are you doing?
All right, yeah.
And you can see my chat too, Chisato. Okay. Great.
Yeah, I have them up.
Okay. All right. So, would you like to start by stating your stance, or would you like me to start? I don't mind either way.
Let's see. I think in proper fashion, I will go first.
All right.
So my stance.
Wait, hold on. And what proper? Never mind. Go ahead.
Well, never mind. I shouldn't say that.
Anyway, keep going. I didn't know what you're talking about.
Let me. It was chess rules.
Oh yeah,
we'll just say that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Anyway. All right. Hold on. Matt Maeda says, "Introduce yourself."
Introduce myself. Hello, everybody. I am Tosado, of varying levels of fame, of varying levels of lore. You may know me as a outspoken simp for Chaosia. Some may know me as recently modded. Some may know me from shorts where I absolutely embarrass myself. Others know me from taking the Daki Makara to the store. What else do we have?
Oh,
anything else notable?
Be irrational.
Oh, I'm 6'7", by the way.
That is true. He'll settle on none of this in Leonardo. Timmy. Oh, Timmy's here. You're number one of your biggest cheerleaders. And hi, Pip. How are you doing? Bro's 5'7".
Yes, that's true too. I do also stream myself.
That's right.
Recently.
That's right. Again, you need to change your bio to kind of say like, "Hey, look, I'm streaming." You know.
I did. I changed it. It says, "Howdy, I'm a fledgling streamer in something."
All right. So, here we go. State your little thing. You know. I will say, I obviously I take a look a lot at the chat. So you know.
No, yeah, that's all right. You should introduce yourself for any first-time chatters and for anybody from my streams that may be coming here that aren't familiar with yourself.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. I forget you have. Recently, you're so up and coming. You have you have way more clout, you know, and way more fanfare than I do. I'm kind of in my flop era, guys. I'm Chaosa, and I like to argue.
Yeah,
there we go.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. She runs a beautiful online store, chaosia.store. Saba merch coming soon.
That is true. I need to put that up for pre-order today, actually. It's neither here nor there. All right.
Yeah, so Timma, yeah, this chick, this is Chaosia.
Timmy is so funny.
Tim is hilarious.
Bro forgot that people actually chose to watch Tosado for some godforsaken reason. I know. I think it's just his voice, because certainly your content is interesting, to say the least.
Stale, boring. Yeah.
Filled with lots of...
Except I do kind of...
Go.
Oh, go ahead, sorry. No.
Stop apologizing. It's weird.
After you. continue.
Oh, see, now I lost my train of thought. Okay, go ahead.
This is why I have to be the tracks for your train. This was explained in chat. Thank you, Tim, for the opportunity. I also lost my train of thought. This is why I'm the tracks and not the train.
Divorce stream when? Oh, God. Sasato has so much potential with his voice. He just needs strategy. Agreed. I've been saying that. We gotta come up with a strategy for him. You know? That one Leaf, last Power Word stream was funny. It really was, actually.
That was hilarious. Privated forever, but hilarious.
Oh, God. She's in shambles?
So it was, I need to stay my stance.
Yes.
All right. So today we are debating about which is the most effective resource to help people. As can be read in the title here, time versus money. I am on side time, as made obvious by the hourglass sitting on my head.
All right. I mean, that was like an introduction. That wasn't really like stating your side or claim of things. You know what I mean? So what is your best argument as why you think time is a more effective resource than money is?
I mean, it really comes down to the fact that you cannot assist people without the use of time. In all manners, but small or large, personal, even large scale, everything comes down to time. Your own argument here will eventually boil down to, but money can buy you the time to do things, but at the end of the day, you're admitting that time is the valuable resource. You're just using money as a means to obtain it.
Absolutely. I'm not necessarily saying there is no inherent value in time. I am saying that if you want to be the most effective person to help other people, you have to have money and resources. Correct, time is incredibly valuable, but okay, let's take it this way. Time is incredibly valuable. What is the best way you can obtain time?
The best way to obtain time?
Yeah. Because time is like, it's like a measurement of like how much a human can do in like a small period of, an instance, you know what I mean? A period of time, if you will.
There's nothing you can do. Yeah, Debunked is right. Like you can't buy time. Time
you can
just
buy
merely happens.
So sure, in the sense that like time is a measurement, so it's like you can't buy like a measurement. But from what happens during that time is what's valuable, you would say? How you spend your time is most valuable.
Okay, yeah. Yes, in that regard I would agree.
Okay, so now let's just for illustrated purposes say you spend your time going to school or something to become a doctor so you can help people. That's like the thing that you can do valuable, the most valuable thing you can do with your time, or one of the most valuable things. How are you going to do that thing with your time? And how are you going to make your time most effective?
What are you trying to ask here?
So how do you make your time most effective? You say time is very valuable. Agreed. Now, how can you make your time most effective?
How do you make your time most effective? I mean, it varies on a case-by-case basis as to what we define as
give me any of the cases.
People.
Give me any of the cases.
Any case. All right, let's say, we can start helping problem children in chat.
Mm-hmm.
The most effective way to help them, bar none, is to give them the time, to spend the time on them, to figure out how best to assist.
Agreed. And now, in order to accomplish that, what must you need?
What must you need? Time.
Yeah. Of course, you need time, but also you need education in order to be effective with your time. If I wasn't effective with my time, it'd be frivolous. It'd just be wasted. I truly do want to help people, and I truly take my time to do so. However, I also have to be educated in order to actually help people with my time. You can take a child who has no, a pre-developed brain, spend their time versus my time. My time in the instance of helping people is going to be more valuable because I have education. In order to have education, you have to have the time it takes to learn. How can I afford, in this economy, this day and age, the time to learn? By having money.
I would argue that is untrue if we're specifically talking about today's era, because so much education is free online that you merely need time to get up there.
Agreed. And how are you going to have the free time to do that? If you don't have a roof over your head, you don't have any source of income coming in, eventually you're going to run out of this free resource you have. Because again, think about it. You have to have money to afford a house, to afford rent, to afford healthcare, to afford food. If you just go on time alone, you can't even feed yourself. With what time can you feed yourself?
With what time can you feed yourself?
Yeah.
Well, so to have the free time, like you say, in today's society, you need money. Generally true for most people, right? We're not gonna bring like
I would like to even hear a time where it's not generally true.
I mean, there are just some people where like they're born into so much wealth that they literally don't have to worry about it, right? But we're not going to talk about those ones. That wealth, yeah. It just, like they're irrelevant to the conversation here. But so they sorry, let me get back. So most people will have to trade in some amount of their time to obtain money.
Agreed.
To be able to survive. Correct.
Agreed.
Nobody is losing all of the hours of their day to obtain the money to survive.
I think I don't agree with that. I think, okay, so actually I do agree and I don't agree, because I think they're spending the majority of their time making money because of how harsh the economy is and how shitty healthcare is. And if you have children, you now have to rear a child and fend for yourself and have a job. Let's talk about in America how many hours it takes to commute to and from a location. That all takes up time to make what money,
Right, and of course their time is always vastly undervalued as the company is trying to.
What makes it undervalued?
Just in general. The purpose of a business is to pay as little as they can for the position somebody works in to make the most money they can. It's just, it's a simple part of running the business. So anybody who's spending their time at a workplace,
of course, but is not the trade-off? Is not the trade-off you are asking the person to do a very simple, like uncomplex, job where it's like they don't have to do a lot of thinking, they don't have to weigh risk, and they don't have to weigh anything that's like worth anything. Because like when you make a mistake, for example, are you paying for that out of pocket? Very unlikely. It's insurances, which the company had to afford, and the company. So it's like you are not doing something, I think, that is like worth, millions of dollars or however you think, just to say, hey,
no, I agree.
Good morning, what are you doing?
No, I agree. But anyone that works for somebody else is always going to have their labor and their time undervalued.
I would even go as far as to say it's like not. I think it's properly valued sometimes. You know what I mean? Because again, like when you don't have like your own business and you don't create your own path, it is a very, for lack of better terms, intellectually lazy path to take, because you don't have to think of something novel. You don't have to think of the consequences of your actions. You just have like, hey, you need to do this and that. And sometimes when you get a little bit more things that you have to handle, you have to take care of this person, that person, you become a manager and you get more paid. So it's like, I think relatively all things considered, imagine a person who has to build an entire business, an entire empire, who employs, 30 people in the local community. Doing that from scratch is astronomically way more harder than it is to, let me show up to a job, be the door greeter, and then go home every day and not have to worry about stocks and fluctuating values of the company.
No, I fully agree, yeah. I was merely stating it as like a matter of fact that somebody who works for somebody else will be paid less because there are
Of course, but you said severely undervalued. I think it's relatively, 9 times out of 10, properly valued. in the grand scheme of things, which the grand scheme of things must be taken into consideration, because otherwise the person would have to start a business on their own.
I guess I say severely because not because of like myself or anything, just in general. People are always being undervalued deeply for the labor and the time that they spend.
Okay, can you give me an example of that at least? Hello, Shiki.
I mean, I would go so far as, let's see, what's a good one? I'll go something menial. We could say a farmhand, like the actual labor out in the field, picking the produce, picking that kind of thing. Like, they're the ones directly producing the value, and they see the least of it.
Are you saying like someone who works on a farm or someone who owns the farm?
I'm saying somebody who works on it is going to be underpaid, but like you say, the reason for it does make sense. The risk is on the person who owns the farm.
Yeah. So
right, because they are working without the risk, which is why they are undervalued. But they are also producing the value and not seeing as much of it as they perhaps could. But
I mean, it would make, in what world would it make sense that like if you're not taking a bigger slice of the responsibility, that you would get the most value out of the company? Because the company who made the valuable asset, which is the company itself, of course has to keep upkeep, and so it's unreasonable to even think that a worker would get significantly more money than other people for the cost of the company itself, and the fact that, like, you know, like, again, to keep the company afloat, it takes money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But even, I'll use a different example. A surgeon, we'll say, right? So a surgeon that can do his job and has worked at a hospital for 3 years is paid, I don't know the number, we'll just shoot 200,000. Just as a easy number. A surgeon in that same field but has been doing it to the same effectiveness but for 20 years could be paid 50% more just because they've been doing it longer, despite the fact that they would do it to the same efficiency.
Oh, so you believe someone who has longer experience is doing the exact same efficiency as someone who's brand new to the job?
In a hypothetical circumstance, it could be, yes.
In a hypothetical or fantastical circumstance, because that doesn't sound reasonable.
Hypothetical.
That's not.
So you're saying that
so
you're saying a surgeon that is brand new, but has gone through all of the trainings and could still be trusted to do, you know, a 36-hour open heart surgery. You're saying that they are at a different effectiveness level than somebody that's been doing it for 20 years.
Yes.
No, but I'm saying in this circumstance, when I said it, the hypothetical was that the young person, the young person was working at the same level.
I mean, okay, then I'm a little confused, but like, first of all, like that whole idea that like, do you truly not believe that somebody who 1 year on the job versus 10 years on the job, is this all getting cooked? Absolutely. Is going to have the same value, understanding, and experience? Because good God, we got to address that too.
No, I don't. Like 99.9% of instances, that would not be the case.
Okay, so continue with your hypothetical.
I was just saying in the hypothetical.
Bad example.
But in this instance, what you're saying here is that the time somebody has worked as a surgeon makes them more effective at helping people?
Yes.
Continue.
Is this not so? The time someone makes, the time someone has spent as a surgeon helps more people than someone who spent less time as a surgeon? Is that the question?
No, you're saying it makes them more effective at helping people the longer they've spent as a surgeon, the more time they've spent as a surgeon.
Absolutely. Yeah, it becomes more effective because, again, the way that the human brain works is pattern repetition. You know, there are some things that a novice doctor will not be able to recognize because he hasn't had enough experience. Because think about it, the human has like a bunch of variables depending on ethnicity, race, gender, age, etc. You know, to identify something in this circumstance, say a child, you know, then to identify it in an elderly individual, they can be the exact same reason but present differently depending on the human, the issues presenting in. So of course a doctor who has had more experience in different variations of the same problem within different people is going to be more effective at identifying the issue quickly and quicker than a novice.
And I agree. And so the longer people have spent doing something, the more effective they are at helping. And experience is time, very directly.
And now
so you're
ahead.
saying that time is the most effective resource for helping people.
I'm not saying that, because of the fact time can be spent doing however. Money, you have more control of that. You have more control of what you're doing with that time from other people. It's like a pyramid, like a spider web. It's like, if you have money, say, okay, there's a small country in, what's it called? I don't know. It's just some foreign land or whatever. They don't have a lot of healthcare, et cetera, et cetera. You want to help as much people. You can go there as a doctor and teach people how to do this, or you could pay a team of doctors to come teach more people. You can pay for a facility to be built so these people who are learning how to do the job now have a job that they can turn into often. You have to have, yes, don't get me wrong, money is valuable. Money is valuable. I just saw your comment in the chat. Money is valuable, or excuse me, time is valuable, but money is the thing that actuates it forward in order to be the most efficient way to help people. That was chaos.
So you're saying if you build this facility and you put all this money into the infrastructure, it is the most effective way to do things, even without the doctors and experienced surgeons' time to teach these people and the time they will spend doing so.
I'm saying, in addition, if you have money, you can pay a doctor who's experienced, you can pay workers to build the building, and you can pay for the upkeep of the building for X amount of years if you have money. However, let's say the person doesn't have money, but he has time. He can deploy himself to this, village or whatever, and try manually teaching people, which a human can really only teach so many people at once effectively, in a small environment with not many resources. You see what I'm saying? Then let's say that person who's spending their time teaching people doesn't have the money to even afford the flight ticket. What then? Now it's just a pipe dream,
Right, and I agree that money is useful to help these people, but the most effective resource is the time and the experience that is being used to assist them.
Agreed. It's valuable, but how can you afford time?
You don't afford time.
You do afford time.
In
how
what
can
way
you afford
do
time?
You afford
okay,
time?
So how do you right now have the free time to do this?
Because I'm unemployed.
Did you lose your job?
No, I didn't. I was just saying. I was just saying that. No, it's just the weekend. It's the weekend.
Okay. So you're currently not working at your job.
I'm currently not working.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. So when you have a job, what are you paying for?
What am I paying for when I have a job?
Yeah.
I'm lost.
So with your money, where is your money going? It's going partially to rent. It's going partially to healthcare. It's going partially to home insurance.
To gas.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, you're right. Your vehicle.
Yeah.
And what do you need your vehicle? You need it to go work, to go spend your time to make money. You know what I mean? But if you had none of those things, which all of those things must be obtained via money, you wouldn't have the free time to do this right now.
So you're saying if I wasn't... So you're saying back when... We'll use myself as an example.
Mm-hmm.
When I had no money and I was unemployed, yet I still would have had the time to be here.
No, absolutely not. Because what would have happened is how did you have the time back then? Realistically, you had a roof over your head. Where did that roof over your head, where did it come from?
The spare money I had, that's true.
money, you know? You see what I'm saying? So you wouldn't have had the time to do your shenanigans around here unless you had some source of money. The thing is like everybody has money and everyone has time. Well, not everybody, you know what I mean? But it's how you spend it, obviously. The most effective way you can spend your time, the most effective way you can spend your time is with money.
So what you're saying is money is not the most effective way.
No,
but it's a wait. Let me finish.
Suck it, bro.
Let me finish. So you're saying money is not the most effective way to help somebody, but it is a force multiplier that makes your time more effective.
Sure. That's another way of saying it. So therefore, if we were to
time is the most effective resource. Money just makes it easier.
Okay, your time is valuable. If you make your time 4 times more valuable, what made it more valuable?
The time.
No,
the time was the same value. It's the money is a force. No, the money is working as a force multiplier.
Okay, agreed. Okay, so the force multiplier is what makes the time extra valuable.
Yes.
Okay, so now if you were to take a resource that you can obtain to help other people, maybe would we consider the force multiplier?
Wait, repeat that?
Okay, so if you want to take time, you want to make it the most effective. We agreed, right? That a force multiplier makes your time more effective.
Yeah, of course.
A person has a limited amount of time, but they want to help the most amount of people. Don't you think?
Yeah.
And the resource that they need to obtain in order to make their time most effective would be that force multiplier.
I could see where you're coming from.
You literally said yes.
I can see where you're coming from. We'll say yes. Yes. I will argue in good faith. I'll say yes.
Therefore, the force multiplier, which is money, is the most effective resource to help people.
Wait, so real quick, you said money works as the force multiplier for time.
Yes.
So that makes money the most effective force multiplier, but the most effective resource is still time, which is what the debate is about.
That's a good point. However, no. Obtainable resource. Money is a resource. You know what I mean? So money would be. You can sit here and do the specifics, the semantics of the word, but money, in order to make your time most efficient, you need money. And money is a resource.
Money is a resource, and it is valuable, but the most effective resource for helping people remains time. In all your examples, money is merely opening up more time to help because time is the effective
because that is the most
resource.
Effective way. Because that is the most effective way to make your time more valuable.
I mean, I don't disagree that it helps make your time more valuable, but the most effective resource is still the time.
You agree that money makes your time the most effective and the most valuable. Therefore, if you even say yourself, time is a resource, but it cannot be obtained. Like it cannot be extended.
Yeah, you can't buy time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how would it not then be if you cannot buy time? How would money not be the alternative as the most effective resource?
Because the money only makes the time more valuable.
Exactly.
Money itself is working
the
to
money
multiply
is the
effectiveness of time. No, time is the foundation. Money is multiplying it.
Correct. And therefore, if you want to make your time most valuable, you have to have the money. And like Dark Virus said, you can spend time at a soup kitchen, but building a soup kitchen itself is the most effective resource.
No, Dark Virus is wrong because I'll be nice. He's wrong. So building the soup kitchen itself is meaningless if nobody is there to man it and to cook the food.
That's unreasonable to think that.
The time people spend is what makes it effective.
Agreed. It agrees. But guess what? how are these people going to afford to spend time in a food kitchen?
They volunteer.
They volunteer. Okay, therefore, are their needs met in life? In order to volunteer, you have to have what? Basic human needs. A house over your head, food, proper health, and I'd say physical ability, which can go under health.
Okay, so let me bring up a counterpoint. Is we could man them with incarcerated individuals.
I mean, we could.
Sorry, continue.
We could. But either, I mean,
I'm just saying, like, we don't have to get these people that have the resources.
I mean,
we
okay,
could just use incarcerated people.
Come on. That count. We could. But okay, now who governs? Who governs these incarcerated people? Because surely they're not just criminals being held at the local food kitchen. You know what I mean? Who is governing these people?
Whoever has the time to do so.
Whoever has the time. So one person has the time to govern these individuals. Do you not think they'll be overthrown?
Your cat is so loud, by the way.
Okay, excuses. Okay, you're trying to find something to buy time.
Will they be overthrown?
Yes.
Depending
especially because you said they were incarcerated, you know?
Well, I'm not trying to... How do I say this in a way that's acceptable? There are ways to force compliance.
Agreed. Okay.
Means of physical harm.
Okay, and now how do you have, for example, we'll say guns are physical harm, batons are physical harm, handcuffs are physical harm. What does it take in order to obtain those items? Money makes time. That's a great way of even putting it. You know what I mean?
I mean, if we're talking about a baton, you just have a big stick. It doesn't take nothing.
Okay, you think... Okay, so now let's not be brain dead now. You think a big stick is going to be effective at getting incarcerated individuals to properly work a soup kitchen in order to help a local community? Let's not be obtuse here. There we go.
Let's not be obtuse. Then the incarcerated individuals are interesting because normally the threat of incaration is enough to keep the majority of people in line. But when they've already been incarcerated,
okay, so what makes
direct threat? You need a trained individual who knows how to take them down and restrain them.
Agreed.
And have the means to keep them in line. So, say a gun.
Agreed. And who pays for that training? In what countries do we see high levels of crime rate because their police force isn't as efficient as American ones? Okay. Low third world countries.
Who pays for the training? Either themselves or the taxpayers. Sure.
We'll go with that.
I mean, that's who it is, right? Depending on how, like, the police academy or whatever might be funded. Yeah. It's either taxpayer funded or it's, like, out of their pocket. It's pretty irrelevant for the point, but yes, somebody is paying.
So therefore, someone is taking their money to make someone else's time the most efficient. Because again, like it's like the classic, you can give a man you can teach him how to fish or whatever, but guess what makes him way more effective at fishing? Higher quality equipment.
That saying counterpoints yourself.
Tell me.
Because giving a man a fish is the same as giving a man money. But the most effective way to help the person who's starving is to teach him how to fish.
In order to be educated, what you need.
You spend the time, and he spends the time fishing. It all comes down.
So to teach him how to fish, you have to be knowledgeable.
Thank you for the $10 super chat.
Okay, thank you, Shiki. Winning argument. Wu-Tang Clan didn't make a song called "Time Rules Everything Around Me." There we go. Thank you for that, my dear. So therefore, again, in order to be educated, you have to have time. You have to have time.
Absolutely, you have to have time.
In order to have the time to educate yourself, this can be used in different areas, such as going to school. In order to have the time to educate yourself, you have to have the money. Because you are also paying someone else for their time, like a teacher, for example, to teach you what to do.
Right.
We need both.
So
Agreed.
you
Agreed, Leonardo. We do need both resources because they're both
We need
extremely
both.
valuable. But the most
Right.
effective resource to help people
is time.
is money. You're stupid. You're just being attention whore now.
What do you mean? I'm merely exerting my point here. You know, I'm like, you left it open, and I finished the sentence for you in the correct manner.
You cannot be. Listen here, Tasato. Don't piss me off. Give me a second.
No execution. I'm being. Listen.
Go.
Wait, she's gone. I'm gonna wait.
She meows to get in and the meows to get out. You know what I mean?
Love cats.
Here we go.
All right, so I will say, like, I am not arguing in bad faith here, so I should not be pissing you off.
You are.
I'm not. I mean, me when I'm finishing your sentence and saying like in time, yeah, I'm just fucking poking fun at you, but the argument is in good faith.
No. How is it in good faith? Because you even said yourself that the force multiplier to make time more effective is money. You cannot buy, you can buy other people's time, but you cannot buy your time. You know what I mean? In the sense that, like, you cannot extend your time past, the human lifespan. So therefore, the most effective resource you can obtain to help other people is money.
The most effective resource you can obtain to help people is money.
Correct.
Is a true statement because you cannot obtain time.
Correct.
It's an unfair statement, and it's also not the point of the debate.
It's not unfair. How you agreed with me. It's not unfair. That is a true statement.
It's a true statement, but it's not the point of the debate. One of these can be obtained and the other can't. What is the most
effective resource to help people is the point of the debate.
What is the most effective You said, what is the most effective resource that can be obtained? You threw that on. Time cannot be obtained.
Okay, sure. Either way, obtained or not. That's what I'm saying. That's what makes it such a, not as valuable as money. Because I'm adding obtained, because how else are you going to get an external thing, an external resource in order to help more people? I thank you, my dear Nibby, for the 10 PLN.
All right,
now Magic Tasato won $10 million in a lottery.
we can only pray, Nibby.
I know.
But so
go ahead.
So time cannot be obtained, and money can be obtained. Correct. And so somehow you're saying a finite resource that can be exchanged to obtain an infinite resource has less value than the infinite resource that the finite resource is being exchanged for?
Correct, because you can use that infinite resource to help more people.
No, you use your time to help more people. Money merely is a force multiplier to allow you more time, or in some instances, more effective
with your money. Yes.
To be more effective with your time.
Correct.
Thank you. So the most effective resource
you can obtain is money because it makes your time more valuable. Guys, am I explaining this a little bit better or wrong?
You win. You win. You're right, because you can't obtain time. The most effective resource you obtain to help people is money. I will concede that point all day.
There we go. Yay!
But the most effective resource to help people, the point of the debate, is time.
No, that's not. No, it's not. Because how did you agree and then go never mind though? But still,
you keep saying obtain.
Because remember, the basis of our argument was, why are you guys wasting your damn time playing video games when you could be helping other people? Look at Timmy. You could be helping other people by making money. And I'm like, how do you guys not feel bad about not helping the people you care for? You're being obtuse and straw manning the argument to whatever it is. No, the answer is money, and you agree.
No, you're specifically wording it as the most effective resource you can obtain to help people is money. And I can't disagree without just being I would be spitting a falsehood. You can't obtain time.
Okay.
So when you say the most effective to obtain is money, it is it's a truthful statement when our two options are an unobtainable resource that can only be exchanged,
So therefore,
and the other one is an obtainable resource.
Exactly. So therefore, the most effective resource to help people is going to be money.
No.
Can we take the word obtain
It's
out?
time.
Yeah, absolutely. How is it?
If
How is it time?
If we take the word
Tasato. Okay, so tell me this. You want to help 100 people. Tell me how are you going to do that with time? That is not infinitely more effective if you had money instead.
Okay, like I don't know how we're helping them. Say I dig a well, right? And then I build a well for them with my time. And now they all have access to
And
to
how
clean
long
drinking
is it going to take for you, singular Tasato, to build a well? Because how deep does a well have to be?
It's got to take a while.
Yeah.
To dig a well,
so
that's
how long?
gotta take
Let's just throw out like a time. Hours. Okay, it's way more than hours. Have you ever seen how deep a well is?
Hours. Yeah, I have one in my basement.
Okay, so hours to build a well. How deep is that well? And let's take your muscle mass into consideration. Like, you're not getting very far, very long.
I mean,
and on top of that, you need to make sure the water is purified in order to put it in the well.
Right.
You know, otherwise it's useless.
We'll say, 150 feet deep, right? When I'm saying hours, I'm not like, I'm going to have this done in one day.
Listen here. You're going to build a hole in a couple hours that's 150 feet deep.
I didn't say a couple hours.
I thought that's what you said. Then how long would it take?
No, I didn't. Sorry, when I said hours, I didn't mean like a couple. I like it's going to be a long time.
Okay. So it's manual, like hours.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So how many hours?
Yeah. Fuck. God, 150 feet deep, building a well. Let's see. I've only ever dug a hole about 5 feet deep before. Let's see. That took me.
In the meantime, Miku fan, I think you're very correct, all things considered. Takes Tasato 30 minutes. I don't know if you've seen his muscle mass.
So we'll just say 100 hours. Make it easy.
You know what I mean, Dark Virus? 100 hours. Okay, so
we'll just say
100 hours is how many days?
Let's see, including sleep time, 100 hours. Let's just say 2 weeks.
Okay, think about that. Okay, that one leaf keeps asking, how far back are we going with this before currency exists included as well? We're doing it as of right now because that's how I said I want to do. How can I help the most people? I didn't exist hundreds of years ago before currency, so it's like, we can't argue that technically in the future, but as of right now, it's just current timing. But anyway, so 100 of hours to build this well, okay? And that's like how many days?
We'll say 2 weeks.
2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Okay. You build the well with what? A shovel?
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you going to do how are you going to get the shovel?
How are we going to let's see. We go to Home Depot and we buy
okay, so wait. So correct. How are you getting to Home Depot?
How am I getting to Home Depot? I'm walking. I live down the street from one.
You're so stupid. And okay. Oh my god, you're obnoxious. Sure, you're walking. Okay, so that adds how much more time to get to your local Home Depot? And where the fuck are you building the well, by the way, where it's valuable?
Okay, wait. We got to build it where it's valuable. That's true. So we'll say up north somewhere. So we got to drive up north. We got to stop by the Home Depot on the way up north. But it's still basically included. So we'll drive like 3 hours up. Okay.
Okay, and so like, what are you gonna do? You're driving now? Okay, so in order to drive, you have to either Uber or ride on a bus or ride on a car. What operates those things? Money. All right, so now we're at like half of a well built in 3 weeks, I would say. All right, now where are you gonna get the stones to make sure the well doesn't collapse on itself? Because it's a well, you know? If it's just the ground, it's going to collapse over time with an erosion. So you're going to need a huge tractor truck to carry all these stones to build this well properly. And are you tractor certified, Tasato? You're not. So
is the government regulating this?
Okay. No. Okay, so now the government is not regulating it. You can technically operate a tractor. Where are you going to get that tractor?
All right. Home Depot. They got it all.
Okay, they do not. And not for as many rocks as you need to build the well. Like, It's very telling that you're I feel like a very unexperienced person by having this kind of idea. But either way, so now, you know, you
I
have
just
to have
use
the
it as an
money.
example. Like
Yeah,
I
it was
obviously
it was
have
terrible.
never
And
dug a
I'm
fucking
breaking down your
well. Like,
example to tell you how it's
no, it's fine.
moot and useless.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well, it's fine because like once you eventually get to the end of your point here, I will then explain why you're wrong, so we can continue.
okay, then hop to the point. Okay, explain why I'm wrong.
Well, no. Continue. I want you to spend your
So anyway,
time,
so
your
you have to spend
valuable
so much
time.
damn money to get all the resources in order to build a well, and then I believe you have to upkeep wells because I think you have to keep them purified. I'm not a well expert, you know what I mean? But that also takes money and time. You also probably need a true reasonable person who knows somewhat of architecture. They know how to not get the well to collapse over time because otherwise you just waste all your time. Either way, let's say this whole thing probably takes a month. Very unrealistic. I don't know if you've ever seen construction. I know they build nothing there in Michigan, but here in Vegas they build all the time. It takes fucking forever.
They build all the time here.
Yeah, like
Constantly under construction.
Anyway, you need like that's gonna take like multiple months. When if you just had $1 million, you could pay 20 people to build this well in maybe a week.
Okay.
So therefore, what is the most effective path? You trying to do this all by yourself, an uneducated person trying to build a well, or paying somebody who's a professional who knows what they're doing.
Now, this $1 million that I have, how did I obtain it?
How did you obtain it? How did the person obtain it? They were smart with their time. They were smart with their time.
Time was the most valuable and effective resource that gave them the money to be more effective with their time.
They made educated decisions with their time via the fact they were educated with money.
Their time.
Correct. Time is valuable. I don't know why you think you're doing some gotcha about time.
Gotcha.
You're so dumb. I don't know why you're doing like some gotcha. Every time I say time, I'm like, yes, it is valuable. But the issue, the crow is dumb but funny.
Thank you. Thank you, Joseph.
So therefore, what is the most effective resource? You have to have money.
What is the money good for, though?
The whatever,
if money
an
comes,
educated person.
Money comes from time and then works as a force multiplier for time in the future.
Say that one more time.
Time is exchanged for money. And then that money is used as a multiplier on time that you're spending in the future.
Agreed. So therefore, if you cannot buy money,
time is the foundational resource.
Time? Sure. We'll say it is the foundational resource. However, if you are to obtain a resource to help more people, what would that resource be?
You're going to use time.
How does that make sense?
What I'm saying, like even if you're paying, like you said, we're paying 20 people, so we're getting 20 people's time to build this well. No matter how much money you throw at this, it will not solve itself without the time being put in. You're simply making the time more effective using money, which was obtained
more
using
effective.
Time.
Agreed. Don't get me wrong. I completely agree. Time, you exchange it for money. Okay? But the most effective resource is going to be money. You can't be I feel like, let me think. How can I rephrase this to where it's a little bit more palatable? You know? Let me see. Most effective. You see, Dark Virus? I agree. Time is incredibly valuable. It's non-negotiable, okay? Without time, you can't use the money. You know? But if you are a person, because remember, that's the basis of this whole conversation in the first place, who wants to help as much people as possible, my time is not as valuable as what it would be if I had more money to help other people.
But how did you obtain this money to help other people?
By using my time effectively and educating myself how I can use my money more effectively. But
so
what afforded that education?
Time was the effective... But time. You can't educate yourself with random money. Like if you throw
you have to have
$1,000 at me, I'm not educated.
I know for a fact. If you're not using your time wisely, which again, you have to have access to resources. You have to have access to education. Education is expensive no matter which way you look at it. You know, if I didn't have a computer, if I didn't have internet, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So therefore, an obtainable resource, which is the most effective resource.
You can't, if you argue obtainable, you win. But the debate is not obtainable.
Okay, so tell me how it wouldn't be. Hold on. Joseph said time makes money and more money reduces time. Both are right. Yeah, they're both right. But the thing
they're both right. I'm just more right.
That's not how it works. So anyway, you were saying, Tasato, education extremely expensive. Debunk user coming in with a hard-hitting negative 100K in student loans. Facts.
Oh, negative 100K. Ooh.
I don't know.
Debunked. I didn't know you paid half your loans off.
Be nice. But anyway, it is expensive. I have the feeling both are equal. They're both incredibly valuable, Dead Dog. They're both incredibly valuable. But as a person who wants to help the most other individuals, you need money. That's it. That's the argument. And maybe I worded it a little improper because I'm like, how do I answer money and time to both of these questions that we're asking? Pissing me off is what PMO means, you grandpa. Oh, my cat's meowing.
How am I supposed to know that? All I see is 3 letters.
Anyway, you need education is expensive.
I agree. Education's very expensive. And the reason it's expensive.
Therefore, in order to make an educated judgment with your time to be most efficient and most effective, what do you need? Mm-hmm. Education.
You need money.
What is education?
Yeah, you need money.
Expensive.
Yeah.
Because here's another another example. You have someone who's just very uneducated, has nothing but time. You know, someone who's unemployed. You have someone who's educated, but has a lot of money. Who is going to help more people?
The person who's educated with more money.
So therefore...
Therefore,
money is what makes him more effective than the other person without money. So what is the most effective resource to help people? Money.
But he's using his time. The effective resource is still time.
He is using his time, but it's the money that's making it effective.
I agree. The money is a great
that's the debate. There's nothing
multiplier. Yeah, just cut me off. No, but you're saying money works great as a force multiplier to make time more effective.
Agreed.
I've never disagreed with that.
Uh-huh.
And you said, and education is another great force multiplier for somebody's time to be effective. We use the surgeon example several times. At the end of the day, all of this comes down to the time they put in to get the education, to get the money, to get whatever. And then they pay back that time they spent in the past. It compounds, and then they can use it as money to make their time even more effective in the future.
Sure. So therefore, how would a person use the most effective resource to help people? With money. Because again, how would a person use a resources most effectively to help people? They would use their money. Because again, I completely agree with you. Time is incredibly valuable. It is. Without it, you have nothing.
It's the most valuable, yeah. Agreed.
It's valuable, but if you were to help multiple people, I think you're being intentionally obtuse for the bit. In order to help the most people, you have to have money. Because otherwise, your answer would have been, the person with an extra amount, like an hour's, who's not educated, who has no money, but has a fuck ton of time, you would have said that is the most effective person to help other people.
No, because I've always agreed with you from the beginning that money is a amazing force multiplier. I've never said money is not valuable to help people. I've merely said time is the most effective.
It is not.
Money is extremely effective, but time is what is used in the end to be effective.
Okay, so let me ask. How would time be more effective than money? And can time exist to be effective without money?
Would time be effective without money?
Correct.
And what was the other one?
That's it. Like I was just rephrasing the sentence so it's a little bit more digestible.
Would time be effective without money?
What if time didn't
Are we
exist?
talking about like without the concept of money, or
sure without a person who has a lot of time but doesn't have access to money? Can they be effective if they have no money?
They can be, but as you said, money will make things more effective.
More effective. More, another way for more is
Right.
most effective.
No, another word for more is not most.
Oh my god. So more effective. More means in addition. Okay? More
Yes.
in addition. So money is
Mhm.
more effective than time. Take your time.
In your circumstance where you listed is this uneducated, like unemployed person going to be able to help as many people as someone with money? Like if we say who can help more, a billionaire, or like can fucking Elon Musk and Bill Gates together team up and help more than a single unemployed guy, living in fucking South Dakota?
Yeah, exactly. So therefore, like, okay, don't tell me your brain damage, because
like
the rich
like
people.
If we're talking, if we're gonna talk, like, there are scalable circumstances where helping like humanity as a whole is going to, like, money is going to be the only reasonable solution. Yes, I can argue people are going to use their time. Like, if you develop vaccines, it's still people, like, you're paying to develop a vaccine. It's still people putting their time in to develop it. It's still like people transporting it, the logistics.
And how do they have the time to put the development into it?
Exactly. Right. I get where that's going to go. But yes, in terms of large scale humanity as a whole, money will always win.
Exactly.
But on an interpersonal level, which is what I thought we were talking, to help a person, it's always time.
Okay, so in what so now you're just like making shit up, because in what way did I ever say a person?
No,
I said people.
You're right. I
said I wanted to help most people.
If you want to help the most people in a large scale, something like that, time is still an absolute necessity.
Agreed. But to make your time most effective, you have to have money. Darkfire's me when I lose.
Yes.
So therefore, what is the correct answer to the question? What is the most effective resource?
Let me say it. I will eat my loss with pride. The most effective resource to help people at large.
Which people means multiple. It's not a person. Is what? Remind me once more.
Money.
Well. Into the dungeon with you.
Into the dungeon with me. Wow, you had the cage ready. So you were just going to sit here stubborn to the end of time until you could cage me.
Exactly. You finally get it. This could have ended an hour ago. You know what I mean, Gorv? You know what I mean? He tried everything. You put up a decent fight.
To be fair, you did also argue, like, to help your loved ones. So I was working on small scale amounts of people.
My loved ones still take money.
They still you need the time. The time is more effective.
Agreed. But don't even start this again. Because, like, again, like, if I have money, then I can pay for their health care. I can pay for their housing. I can pay for their nutrition.
Yeah,
I can pay for their well-being.
You can buy a kid 1,000 toys and put them in front of a fucking iPad. And if you're not there for them, it doesn't matter.
Okay, what the hell was that?
your time is what's needed to raise kids.
I
Your
make up a
time
very
develops
specific thing that doesn't even have anything to do with anything in the conversation right now.
Like,
no kids are in my life.
Time will build your relationships. Time will raise kids. Time is how you learn
Time is
your
valuable,
schools.
but you have to have money to spend your time. Why do you think the people who can afford like they can stay at home mothers, they can rear their child properly because they are financed somehow, usually by the men, or if they have money to where they can raise their child properly by being at home with their child. Agreed. Time is so valuable that you need money in order to obtain it. Agreed. Time is valuable.
So time is so valuable. Yeah.
It's so valuable that you need an external resource, money, to obtain it. Therefore, if you ever want to make your stuff most effective, your time most effective, you have to have money. How are you going to get there? Their parents don't got jobs? Kamala versus Trump debate. If you have money, you can afford to take time away from responsibilities and support people with time. It always comes back to money. Exactly. There's nothing...
money... But Starstorm Shooter, let me just stop it real quick. To get that money, you have to put in the time. Money exists because of time.
Agreed.
It's literally time. No, I'm just saying, like, saying it always comes back to money is an absolute false equivalency. It always comes back to time.
Hold on, Joseph says, someone explain the crow's origin. Was he a man or just smooth-talking crow? People with money give more to charity than all the groups combined. You see what I'm saying? Thank you, my dear.
Well, people with money give more to charity. Okay. I'm not even going to get into that. That wording is just absolutely atrocious. Like, yeah, people with money donate more money than people without
Joseph,
money.
we had one time I was on stream, we argued about this for 3 hours, except he was in the chat, and now we're doing Audible, so it's easier.
It was a lot slower.
Ooh,
yeah, it was a lot slower.
Take them down. Way easier, because you had time to think. Now you don't have time to think. And again, like, I'm real quick with it. You know what I mean? You can't run away. So Tasato conceded. I went.
After you conceded.
How did I concede?
Oh, there were a couple times there where you were like, yeah.
No, I mean, I agree. I didn't concede. I agreed with you. Time is valuable. That's not me. The absolute state of the world where me agreeing with you is conceding. Wow, you made a fair point. Oh, yeah, she gave up. Flop.
Thank you.
Tasato needs time to think. He does.
I do. I'm a very special individual. I can't call myself slow anymore.
Exactly. You are very special. If 3 hours were all there, would be a lot of money. If 3 hours were all there, that would be a lot of money. LOL.
It'd be a lot of time too.
It would be. Tasato, you're right. Mom won. Leonardo's just confused. Tell us about the slow crow. He is just a super fan of mine who's delusional. That's all he is. Isn't that right, Tasato?
Delusional?
Okay, first of all, this entire argument solidified my claim of calling you delusional. Like, I can't believe you thought you had a chance. I can't believe you thought you had a chance by answering the question with your answer, which is time.
And in circumstances, I'm still right, but I conceded that within the confines of the debate
in circumstances, I'm correct. Oh, in a different question, actually, I am right. What does that even mean? It is the copium.
It's copium. You create the debate. You create the question.
And
you reword it several times during the debate.
In order for you to understand
until eventually the goalpost is so wide and so close to you that all you did was almost fall over the ball, but you still scored.
Exactly, I still won. But anyway, I even went back into the video yesterday to make sure I phrased the question correctly. You know? So it's like, this is just, again, this was the question all along. I was right all along, and it took you like 4 months to understand. But either way.
But I understood.
Well, Tasato will be in the background during streams after this, perhaps still in the cage with duct tape over his mouth. Why not?
I would prefer duct tape over my beak than my mouth, but thank you, Gorv.
Oh, God. Oh god. I feel like I become so dazed. IDK where I am. Is it a little confusing? I love these types of things. I like the circular kind of like nonsense. But anyway. KO keeps getting spell check the mayo. Mayonnaise. Mayonnaise. Your Honor, my client pleads whoopsie daisies. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, wow, wow, it was way easier than I thought. This was painful to watch with that one. If you know what I mean? You guys, his little hero, Tasato, the man of the people, humiliated in slow motion. Alright, so now what do we do? Do we argue about something else? Or do we call it? Let me see. How long have we been streaming for?
Only about an hour.
Oh, okay, that wasn't that bad. I expected you to last like 10 minutes, which realistically, I do believe you lasted 10 minutes. You just tried to come up with every possible variation to go against me. Mom won the debate, abusive argument over the divorce. My little kitty.
No, I wouldn't say 10 minutes. I would say
idiot. No, I missed it. I wiped Tasato.
I don't know, right in the middle. Right in the middle of that, I really had you.
Okay, no,
I really had
tell
you.
me, tell me how.
And then you untangled it. And then it was a slippery slope downward.
So you were wrong. You were wrong. I led you on the proper path, and then we were back at the original question, like I should do, you know? You should have made a more specific question. Agreed. We will have more debates about this in the future, but it was just a question I asked 4 months ago that he disagreed with me the entire time. So it's like, this is like the final finale. Why do they call me mom? I don't know. I take care of my little kids in here. Everyone's my problem child. That's probably why. He cooked her. Timmy, you're so funny. Timmy's on suicide watch over here.
There was a 5 and up super chat that you can fry.
Yes, that was.
I think it was Shikieki Yamazandu.
It was 6 months ago? There's no way. Oh, wow. Yeah, I guess it would have been.
When was that? January? Yeah, that was like 6 months ago.
You never had her. You never had your car. You know what? Dark Virus, finally, we got to the point. You know what I mean? We finally won. War is over. War is over. Jeffy said he lost the argument. He did, and he conceded.
The war is over.
The war is over. Okay, so what else?
It's merely a tactical retreat. We lose the battle to gain ground in the war.
Okay, true. What is the next battle then? So we can win the war on my side.
It will be determined at a later time.
At a later time.
Notice not later money. Later time will determine it.
You are something else. This time could have been better spent if we were talking about eels, says Gorb. Gorb, you're really funny.
About eels?
I did $10. Yes, Cheeky, I do appreciate it.
I did see that, Dead Dog. Glad to see you have your OBS set up.
Does this mean you get to come out of the trenches? Maybe the Tasato curse, because he's been cursing my life for so long. Maybe the curse is finally free.
Debunk, do you have that screenshot of her saying I showed up and ruined her life within 3 months?
But we are so back, baby. We are so back.
We are
sausages here.
So back.
Little sausage. All right. Let me think.
All right.
All right. So what should we do now? Do you want to just end it? Do you want to do the? What should we do? Let me think.
Why would I want to end it?
That's true, but like I don't want to.
I can sit here and collaborate with you all day, my dear.
Okay, so then we can technically do another stream. More KOs as the Dark Virus. You're so funny.
Dark Virus means more Tosato, but
oh god,
he's trying.
May I punt the cage? Why not that one? Leave just this once. Chat is active today. Wow. When you talk about decisive,
that's a great idea, Jeff.
Wait, what did Jeff say? Oh, you're so funny. Next debate, shirts versus blouses. Oh, she wants the rider victory. I see. You know what I mean? And you know, I didn't even sweat. You know, I actually had my Aura ring on. I wonder if my heart rate went up. Probably not too much. Would Chaos have been put in the cage if she lost? Yes.
No.
But there was no chance. There was no chance of me losing.
She would have just kept moving the goalposts until she won, and then it would have been me in the cage in the end, no matter what.
Okay, again, like, I asked you
if.
each time.
I said if.
I clarified what is the you know, like if we're on the same page the entire time. That way you can't do this whole oh she changed it to this. You know what I mean? I didn't get a recount.
I didn't say you did. I just said if it started happening.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. But it wasn't gonna happen.
I like your confidence.
Yeah. I do too. All right. I think we should probably. I think we should end the stream and then we can just do something else.
She pays me.
Do you pay Tosado, or Tosado wants to spend his time on this debate? I pay you.
You pay me.
I pay you with my time?
You pay me with attention and affection.
Oh, okay. So I pay you my time. All right, that works. I don't think she'd fit in that cage. Where are my chats going, says Raina. I don't know. All right. I think we're going to call it a stream.
Wait, you got to end the poll.
Yeah, 52% of the chat is correct. Correct. I can't believe 48% of you guys. 47% of you guys.
As a flag bearer for time, I'm sorry to my 47%.
Tough. Tough. I'm team time, by the way. Jeff Jefferson, next. Anybody else? That's what... In the future, I just take open call to like, who? Anyone else want to try? But yeah, we'll probably stream something else. We just gotta think of something else to do. But I think the stream's over. We'll see you. Doom from the start. He never stood a chance.
Bye, chat.
Everyone say bye, loser, Tosado. Bye, loser. Bye, loser, Tosado.
Bye, loser, Tosado.
All right. See you guys later in the Discord.